Welcome back to another episode of College Football Unabridged. Today we're going to talk about the Cal Golden Bears. Um, Last season was kind of more of the same, kind of hit and miss, up and down. Ended up going 7-6 last year. Things it's like a good team that just never seemed to get its feeding. It never seemed to get off the ground. Justin Wilcox gets fired. They bring in Tosh Lupoi, who's been great DC everywhere he's been. Most recently at Oregon. They retained Nick Rolovich, who was OC there last year as well. Previously was a Washington State coach. Really good coach. It's a good offensive system. And then they retain Jaron Kawi Sagapolatelli, I believe is how you say it. I'm not sure. JKS is what we'll call him. He's been a great quarterback, really highly regarded quarterback coming in. Took over after Mendoza left to Indiana. So he's been a good solid quarterback. I think his sophomore year. Shown a lot of potential, and I think in another year with Rolovich, with his scheme, it's a really good ceiling for what he can possibly do. They bring in a lot of new cast of characters for on the offense for skill set. You have Adam Muhammad. He is coming over from Washington from the Huskies. He had a little over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. They bring in Ian Strong, big body, 6'4" receiver from Rutgers, who had some production there. And then kind of the big fish they get is Chase Hendricks, who's coming over from Ohio. He had over 1,000-yard season. So you got production, not necessarily like big name marquee names, but just good solid receiving core. And with this offense, hey, if you can get them going, you get them open in the scheme, and you can see give all the weapons for JKS to kind of elevate his game. It's a lot of potential for this team. And the ACC, and they're playing in the ACC, which is getting a little bit of resurgency, but it's kind of a Miami, Clemson, a cloud of dust in a way. So I mean, you have plenty of opportunity to scale up and to make waves in it. Defensively, they've really haven't had much of a problem under Justin Wilcox, but they bring in Michael Hutchins. He has some NFL experience. Was previously at USC at one point. So you have some good potential there with him. He's young, kind of up and coming guy, and a lot of it. There's a lot of people transferring in. They have some great pieces coming back from last year's team. Safety Aiden Monetai. And then you got Jaden Wayne at linebacker. You have some guys coming back off injuries. This depends on how healthy they're going to be. Leading the way with edge rusher Nate Burrell and Isaiah Crosby as another safety. Both of them coming off injuries from last year. Hopefully they're back healthy and can make some plays for them going into this year. Defense should be still solid again. They're bringing in Oregon transfer Jericho Johnson. He'll be playing a nose tackle. He's 6'4", 345, and only a sophomore. So I mean, there's plenty of potential there. I mean, you need as many people as you can get. You can't never have not enough defensive linemen. So get plenty of those guys in there. You have a good mix of transfers, returning starters. It just hopefully everybody gels, new system, all that kind of stuff. But this team is really solid front to back. Again, last year 7-6. This year they start the year home against UCLA. Should be a really interesting game, kind of near the old Pac as it should be. Pac-12 game, in-state game. bragging right type of thing, and it should be interesting to see them going against Bob Chesney. Um, Great quarterback matchup there between JKS and Nico there. It's like the announcer's nightmare of trying to say both those last names back and forth. Um, After UCLA, they got to go all the way to Syracuse, to what should be another really good, interesting game. Then they settle down. They got Wagner, and then they go right into Clemson. They get an out of conference game at UNLV against Dan Mullen and his squad. Then they get Virginia Tech with James Franklin. Wake Forest, who somehow won 8 games last year and didn't get talked about at all. Interesting dynamic there because Dickert is their head coach. He took over for Rolovich after when the whole situation with Rolovich there at Washington State. Then they get at SMU, at NC State, at Virginia, Stanford at home, and Pitt. I mean, it's a pretty tough schedule. They don't got Miami in there. They're not. But they're playing about every other team you don't want. They don't got Miami and Louisville. Outside of that, they're playing a pretty tough schedule, and even their out of conference schedule outside of Wagner. I mean, you got to go at UNLV, you got to go at, and then you got UCLA, and then the dynamic of going across country and playing like Syracuse, who should be a pretty good team too. They have the guys though to make a run at things. So, just with the schedule though and kind of dynamics and stuff, I don't know if they're gonna quite live up to that expectation this first year, but it should be somewhere around there, that 6-6, 7-5 mark, with potential to be higher than that. Is just it's a tough schedule, but I'm looking forward to seeing JKS and seeing how Lapoy does, and see Rolovich. I think he could be in definitely line to be getting a head coaching position again. I think he's a fantastic coach. So looking forward to seeing Cal this year, and please just rearrange all this to get them back in the Pac-12. Probably not going to happen, but in the meantime, they can make a run at the ACC this year.